Hey, what's going on? Let's see, rotate device. Alright, let's see, anybody's on? Alright. I wonder why they want me to rotate this. Let's try this again. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Can you see me alright? Am I, long shot in this screen here? For some reason, it doesn't want me to rotate my phone. All good, okay, good. This is just gonna be a kind of I don't know how short or long this is gonna be, but I just figured I'd do a quick little live stream here. I got a little bit of time to kill, so. Hey Gator, how's it going? But there's a lot of newer people on the channel. I've got about 1,500 subscribers now, and I just hit that 1,500 mark, and I'm really kind of excited about that. You know, it's nice to see that I've got a little bit of momentum going here, and I've got some growth coming on. Hello to everybody. You know, it's nice that y'all join me a little bit here. Just figured I would do this little live stream and, shoot the bull a little bit with you guys. Wow, everybody's on tonight. Good night to do a live stream, I guess. I've got a couple different things going on. I haven't done a video here in about 2 days, and I wanted to kind of keep things moving along a little bit and, keep some momentum going here on the channel. So I wanted to post a video. I've got a couple of videos I'm working on editing. It's just I got a new computer and throwing some editing software together and trying to get some stuff together. I got a new backup hard drive, so trying to get everything loaded up and saved up and organized is taking me a little bit of time to get that all straightened out. So, Grizz, I wanted to take a minute and kind of talk to you personally. I would like to see you email me. My email's in all my videos, and I think I emailed you, put my email on one of your videos there. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your channel and about some ideas I got for you. So if you got a little bit of time and you want to email me, email me. Maybe I'll even give you my phone number. We can talk a little bit and see what you got going on. There's a lot of people that have smaller channels that I watch, and this new YouTube restrictions is 4,000 hours. I sat down and you guys still seeing me all right? Dylan says I dropped feed here. Feed dropped. Yeah, restrictions. YouTube, they decided they're gonna make it so now these people to try to get monetize your video, you gotta have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in order to monetize your videos. And I didn't realize how many people I watch that are below that that mile marker. I really didn't realize how many small YouTubers there are out there that didn't make that 4,000 hours or didn't make the 1,000 subscribers. And it really is tough that so many people have not been able to hit that milestone and unfortunately lost their monetization. It's a shame, you know. My daughter has a 4-H banquet that she does. They do a meeting every so often. Once a month they have a meeting they go to, and right now I just dropped her off at her meeting and I got a little bit of time to kill. So I'm sitting in my truck right now, so I apologize for the video. The lighting's pretty poor and the quality's not really there, but I just wanted to take the time to just say hello to everybody and talk a little bit about, my channel hitting that 1,500 subscribers. That's a big milestone for me, and I wanted to kind of brag a little bit, but it feels kind of like a sour victory with everybody, having these new restrictions and losing a lot of their monetizations on a lot of these smaller channels. YouTube is a roller coaster ride. It's a lot of emotion. Everybody's kind of up and down, and You know, sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world, everything's going great, you got a lot of subs coming in and you got a lot of views coming in and everything's going great, and then there's times when things get slow and you lose a couple of subscribers and stuff. And I'm watching a lot of different channels, and some of the channels, you can feel the pain with some of these guys that just, you know, they took their monetization off of them, and some of these people tried doing sub for sub to try to build their subscriber count, to try to get more subscribers in order to stay monetized. And then the next day they get on, you know, they added 100 subscribers, and then the next day they lost 75 of them. You know, they subscribed and then they backed out the next day. And it just, that hurts, you know. And I know Gator's World, I watch his videos, and I know he's, you know, a little upset about, you know, losing the monetization, and he feels people aren't watching his videos. You know, I feel the pain. I really do. I'm just barely above that mile mark where I'm still going to be able to be monetized. But, you know, my channel has had a spike. In December, I had a real big spike in my channel, my views. And one of my videos went pretty crazy, and then it dropped right off again. And now I'm kind of on a downward climb. It's been, you know, about a month, and every day it seems like I'm just losing a couple of views and a couple of views, and it's just kind of, I'm gaining subscribers, but the views are going down a little bit. So I'm not sure if it's because I haven't been uploading as often, or if it's because people just aren't as interested, or what's going on here. But it seems like my views are going down, and we'll just see where it goes. I'm going to keep posting and keep at it, and, you know, I'm sure I can pick it back up. But it is a roller coaster ride. You got to enjoy the high marks, and then when it goes down, it dips down the bottom there, you gotta just keep your chin up and keep at it. You know, it's just one of those things that you can't get depressed and you can't get upset about it. You got to just have a good time with it and keep the ball rolling, you know. Skitter Kev and Dylan's Woodworks and Gator's World, Snowman, you know, there's so many channels out there. MSL Login, you know, I think all you guys are a lot of the channels that I watch it just, you know, don't have the subscribers or the watch time to get to that monetization mark. I'm doing good. How are you, Justin? Alexander, you know, I think you're new to the channel here. This is the first time I think I've talked to you or seen you here, you know. Thought it was an interesting channel. I think I was looking at a log cabin video and found me. Well, that's you know, there's a lot of different people out there that do a lot of similar stuff that I do. And, you know, I think it's just taking some time for my name to get out there a little bit and get some people to come around and find the channel. Take the good with the bad, so, man. Yeah, that's all you can do. Kevin, you got the watch time, just need the subscribers. You know, I think, here's my tips. I don't know if you guys even want to hear my tips or not. I'm not a big YouTuber, and I'm not a big, you know, I'm not anybody special to be listening to be giving out advice to anybody. But my advice is kind of simple. Whoops, drop here. My advice for YouTube is, if you put out videos, try to put out at least 1 or 2 videos every so often that have some kind of content that you know people will look up. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, like, if, you know, I'm doing sawmill videos, and a lot of my videos, just by putting the tag in there, sawmill, woodland mills, a lot of people that are interested in sawmills or interested in woodland mills will put those names and those things in the views to look them up, and then as soon as they look it up, my video pops up and they click and they watch it. Now, 4,000 hours, if you have, you know, 10,000 views on a video and everybody watches it for at least a minute, you know, that's a lot of watch time there just for that one video. And same thing if you do something like, you know, how to put a plug on an extension cord. You know, that might be something simple, but it might be something that a lot of people will look up. I did one on taking the back seat out of my truck. Everybody has something they do almost on a daily basis. You guys that are into this and, you know, you put a video up fairly regularly, at least once a week, I'm sure there's something going on in your life on a normal basis that other people would be interested in watching. Lost my light here. You know, I just think that if you take the time and put something out there that you think that other people will look up, Just think of it that way. You know, how to take the back seat out of your truck. A lot of people look at that video. It's not a very good video. I took and I kind of shot that off the cuff, and a lot of people watching. I get a lot of views and a lot of watch time off of that. And believe it or not, I think I also get a couple subscribers from time to time off that video. And once somebody watches one of your videos, I think the other thing that I don't do enough of that I should is put those extra little clips in the end of your video where they can click on your next video. You know, the little end notes, the little tags there. So you put those things on there, and people click from one video to the next. And if they watch more than one of your videos, you know, you're keeping it relative where people are clicking and watching, you know. Real McCoy, did I miss you? You come in already? Real McCoy, Tractor Man 44, you know, all you guys, I feel like there's a lot of camaraderie in this little group of people that are here together. And, you know, it's really a shame that you guys can't have your accounts monetized. It's really a kick in the gut, you know. Anyway, where I was going with this, I was just trying to say that, you know, it's something that if you do a video every once in a while that you put up that is something that other people will look up. And it can be something simple. How to put a plug on an extension cord, how to take the back seat out of your truck, how to use a chainsaw, to sharpen a chainsaw, whatever it is you do on a daily basis, and it doesn't matter. It could be plowing snow, or it could be, you know, changing the light in your truck, or, you know, it could be anything, you know, and it doesn't have to be anything really extravagant or really crazy, but some people will go to do a job or go to do something and look into something and not know quite how to do it, and the first thing they're going to do is get on YouTube, look it up, and your video is going to pop up. And that's how you get a lot of traffic to your channel. You're going to gain more subscribers, and you're going to gain more view time. And it'll be a little bit easier to get to that next mark up and be able to monetize your videos. So, boy, it's a good night to do this live stream. A lot of people in here. I want to thank everybody for coming in here. Jack the Ripped, Real McCoy, you know, Dylan's, you know, all you guys, you know, Jeff, Joe. You know, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming. You know, I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten, and hitting that mile marker of 1,500 subs, that's impressive to me. You know, I really thank everybody for all your support. It's nice doing these live streams and chatting. I think that sometimes it's a little boring for the newer people, but I think for the long time people that subscribed and stay with me here, it's nice to be able to talk to all you guys, and I think it's well worth the time spent to be able to sit down and talk a little bit with you guys on a live chat. You know, thank you, Chris, for the congratulations on hitting the subs. Why don't I do a video trying to show... Why don't you try showing videos how you get your wood or when it's being delivered? Also, have you had any luck trying to sell your slab wood? Well, okay, two-part question here. First part is I have done videos on how I get my wood. Most of my wood I get off of Craigslist. What I do is I look on Craigslist for people trying to get rid of trees, and I actually go and remove the trees for free. I load them on a trailer, take them down to the house, and then unload them off the trailer, sometimes by hand, sometimes with a skid loader. And then I get a pile of logs there at the house. Now this time of year with the winter, with the snow on the ground, a lot of my logs are already there, ready to go, so I can get through the whole winter without having to transport any logs on a trailer in the snow and the ice and everything. So right now I got a pretty good stockpile of logs built up yet, and I've got them cut down pretty good. There's not many left. So eventually I will go back to get more logs. But if you look through my history of my videos, I've got quite a few videos there where I can show you where I cut the trees down, haul them, put them on a trailer, haul them to the sawmill and unload them there and stockpile them there for the winter time there. But come springtime, when my log pile gets short again, I'll definitely be getting more logs. The second part of the question, selling my slab wood, I've had no luck on that at all. I think that in my area, there's just so much walnut wood and so many sawmills and so many people out there selling slab wood that it's just something that a lot of people don't really care to have the green wood, first of all, because the wood I cut isn't ready to be used. Nobody can use it for a bar top or anything because it's a 2-inch thick slab. It'd probably take about 2 years to dry if you just take and air dry it. Plus the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have kiln dried lumber ready to rock and roll. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's supply and demand. There's a lot of supply here and very little demand. So Once I get my kiln built and I start drying the slabs out, I think I'll have a little better luck trying to sell them. But for right now, I had actually 0 calls on that those walnut slabs I posted on Craigslist. So I think maybe I'll drop the price a little bit and see how it goes. But I'm not too concerned about it. I'm happy to have the wood. So, you know, it's one of those things where I just tinker around trying to sell some slabs and take it one step at a time. Steve, the two-headed hammer. You know, you posted a little thing there. I thought that was interesting. You know, there's a little Facebook thing there, a two-headed hammer with one handle. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, I like that. Let's see here. Trying to read down through the comments here a little bit. Videos of me hacking down trees. Yeah, I'm a butcher. You know, I'm not a professional logger. I'm not a professional tree guy. You know, I just watched a video of Matt Cremona. I want to say, you know, I butcher his name a little bit, I think, there, but you know, I was watching his videos. He just did one where he did a collaboration with a guy that was going to college, and he's cutting trees on the side, and he removed the walnut tree, and between him and Matt, they milled it up on his sawmill there. And there was guys in the comments complaining about how he butchered the cut, and he's not safe enough, and he doesn't have the right gear, and he doesn't have the right rope, and he doesn't this, and he doesn't do that. You know, I commend a lot of people out there to go out there and have the guts to go out there and get into a tree and cut a tree down. And there's not a lot of schooling or a lot of places where you can go to get trained on that kind of stuff. A lot of it is just having the guts to get up there and do it. And, you know, the safety stuff, you learn as you go. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of people get hurt. But at the same time, you know, I'm not a professional tree cutter. But I can go out there and I can put a hinge cut in, I can cut a tree down, and I can put it pretty much right where I want to put it. You know, and if I have to do it with a little bit of rope and pulling it, or if I have to do it any certain way, you know, trees are an unpredictable thing. Sometimes they're rotten in the middle, sometimes they have a twist to them, sometimes, you know, just the way they grow, they snap and come down in an odd way. And it's something you have to be careful doing. But, you know, I don't consider myself a professional tree cutter, and a lot of people give me a lot of slack in my comments about that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not wearing chaps, I don't have the right proper gear, this and that. And I find it funny because guys like Billy Ray, you know, Buckin' Billy Ray, everybody watches him. I've seen all you guys in the comments. He sits there and he cuts these trees down, no chaps on, no safety glasses, no nothing, and nobody gives him not a word of slack. I don't know if everybody's deleting the comments or what the story is, but it seems like, I don't know if there's just so much respect for him because he's been around for so long and he is a professional, or if it's just something where they delete the comments. But I find it interesting that everybody, you know, is busting my guts, but they don't really give him any slack. Like I said, I don't know if that's just because he is a professional and I'm not. But it seems like a lot of the absolute professional tree cutters like to give the guys, the new guys, a lot of crap, you know, and it's something where I commend the guys that are out there trying to get the job done and don't have the experience but still have the guts to get in there and get it done, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to cutting trees, I only look at it 2 ways. As long as you get the tree on the ground and nobody gets hurt, it's a good day as far as I'm concerned, you know. Just going to try to read down through these comments a little bit. Do I make any furniture with my stash? You know, I think, Alexander, I think you're new to the channel here, but yeah, I make a lot of furniture. Not a lot, but from time to time we make furniture. Lately, I made a dresser and a cabinet for my kitchen. You know, we've made garbage can holders and wine racks, and there's a variety of different things that we've made, beds and just all kinds of cabinets and stuff of that nature, you know. Jeffrey says, first full week in April, I'll have a log pike that will make you drool with envy. I think you meant pile there. A log pile will make you drool in envy. Cost you $1,300. You know, that's your options. You got your 2 options when you're cutting lumber here is you're either going to have to pay to get a log truck come in and drop logs off, or you're going to have to go out and cut your own trees. And cutting your own trees is not an easy thing to do. Cutting trees, hauling trees, loading them on a trailer, that's a lot of work. You know. Hey, Be Happy Woodworking's here. Things are great up here up north. You know, our weather broke and it's very warm out and it's rainy and it's a lot of the snow's melting, so it's doing pretty good up here. I'm sorry, but I'm going to try to skip through these comments a little bit here. I got more coming in than I really can answer. Hey, Chris Gillian, he's here. You know, I really appreciate your support. You know, I started this Patreon account, and I'm not really sure. I don't want to have Patreon figured out. It's one of those things where I just started it, and I kind of figured out that, you know, it's I don't like to beg for money or ask for money, but I think that if people want to go out there that can afford it and would like to help support my channel and would donate a little bit to help me make my videos, to help me be able to supply, you know, better equipment, and to help me put in some extra effort into my videos. You know, I just bought a computer and a hard drive, and I'm planning on getting some microphones and things and some better cameras so my audio is a little bit better. You know, I get a lot of complaints about that kind of stuff in my videos. Not a lot, but some complaints about that kind of stuff. And it's something where the videos are just gonna continue to improve and continue to go along. The longer I'm around, the more support I get, the better I can make my videos. So I really appreciate all the help, you know. Patreon is going to be slow going, take forever to build it up. 13,000 subs, 7 on Patreon. You know, I think it's one of those things where I think the mass majority of people out there have it tough. You know, most people out there are hardworking people that don't really have a whole lot of money. And I don't really expect anybody to go out of their way to help donate to my channel or to donate to me on Patreon. I don't expect to solicit stuff like that. I leave it in my comments of my videos, you know, to go over there and donate if you want to help support my channel. You know, I appreciate all that. But yeah, it's going to be slow going. But you sit down and you think about it, you know, you're only getting a few pennies per video most of the time. But, you know, with Patreon, you might get somebody to donate $1. If you have 1,000 subs and everybody goes and gives you $1, you know, that's a lot of money. You know, it might not be a lot to sit down and have, you know, $1, but, you know, if everybody donates $1, you have a lot of help there, you know. You know, tech stuff, as far as tech stuff goes, it's just one of those things that I just went and got a new laptop. You know, I didn't have a laptop. The one I had was kind of a 2-in-1 thing, and it really lagged, and it was tough getting the videos to load and edit them, and it really is tough. So I went and bought a new laptop, and it really made a big difference. I'm still figuring the software out for the editing software is newer and a little bit different than what I was used to, so it's taken me a little bit more time to edit my videos, but I think overall they're going to be better quality though. The forum for selling wood, I did check that out. Be happy. I went and I looked that up, and you know, I didn't get the time to sit down and really get all the way involved in it. I started to look at it a little bit, but I didn't really get a chance to get that far involved in it. It's one of those things where I'm not really looking to sell the lumber I'm cutting as much. I just wanted to kind of throw a couple slabs out there on Craigslist and see what kind of interest there was in them. And I'm seeing that there's really not a whole lot in my area. It's one of those things where the internet is kind of a big place, and it's kind of tough to sell to people that come from miles and miles away, where I was hoping to get on Craigslist and see if I can get a little bit of interest in somebody local that could just come by and pick it up, and, you know, maybe make some relationships there. And I think once you start making connections with people that are interested in woodworking and stuff, that's the way to go, you know, and it'll come with time. Yeah, Windows 10, Chris. That's what I've got. Windows 10. I forget the name of the editing software, you know, and it's all kind of new to me yet. I'm still kind of figuring my way out through it, but it is Windows 10. Have a good night, Steve. Let's see here. Need more sawmill videos. You know, I get kind of where I'm not sure if that's what everybody wants to see or not. You know, I'm not sure what more I can do with the sawmill. Should I just keep videoing me cutting wood, you know, 1-bys, and just running around cutting them and stacking them and that kind of stuff? I'm not sure what the interest would be, if everybody is all that interested in watching me walk back and forth on the sawmill or not. Hit hard in New York City. I'm on Pennsylvania, so I'm not too far away from you. Tractor Man says, I can hardly even spell IT. Still using Windows 7. You know, I don't even know how old my old system was. I couldn't even tell you. It might even been older than Windows 7. Might even been like whatever, 2000 or whatever. I don't know. But I'm really impressed with how many people are here in the comments section here talking with me today. You know, Chris, I was impressed with your channel. I gotta tell you, you know, I'm impressed with the fact that, you know, you're not afraid to tell people how it is, and you're not afraid to go out there and just speak your mind and do things the way, you know, you think is right, and don't have any problems speaking your mind. You know, I kind of appreciate that, and I look up to that. You know, I'm impressed with the 13,000 subs too, by the way. You know, that's one of those things where I try to find channels that, you know, I try to pick up things that help me along and figure out what they're doing right and try to imitate that a little bit and try to move forward and try to make improvements as I go. So it's nice to see that some of the bigger channels don't have a problem coming out and finding the time to talk with me a little bit, you know. Let's see here. Skidder Kev says he just posted a new video. Don't forget to check it out. I won't forget. I'll definitely be by and check it out. You're definitely one of the ones that I have the bell notification on, and I'll definitely come by and see what you got going on. Want to see more of my technique, where and why I cut. You know, I can tell you that where and how I cut, basically, I'm just cutting lumber for myself is all I'm after. We've done a lot of woodworking, and I say we, I mean my brother and I, growing up, we've always done a lot of woodworking, and we always bought a lot of rough cut lumber. And I got into the sawmill just for the simple fact of, you know, it's easier to cut my own lumber, dry it, and then use my own lumber to make some projects than it is to go out and buy the rough cut stuff. You know, so it's one of those things where, you know, you pay $2,000 for a saw up front, but it's better than paying, you know, $200-$300 every load of lumber you want to use. I've probably gone through, I don't know, I've gone through a lot of lumber since I've got the sawmill. And it's just now getting to the point where I've got it. I try to cut a couple logs every month and stack them out in the yard, so that way I always have a continuous stack of boards that are getting to the drying point where I can use them for lumber. So every month there's basically a new layer of lumber that I can go out and peel off, put through the planer, and then use. Hey, while I have you guys here and I got an audience that I can ask a question, I sat down, I made a couple of cutting boards. Nothing really special. Had some walnut wood and some maple wood left laying around the garage from some projects we did. And instead of taking them out and throwing them away, I decided to cut them up and make some cutting boards out of them. So I'm in the process right now of editing a video and posting it just about me making cutting boards out in the garage. And I sit down and think, you know, it's not really all that interesting. But at the same time, it's one of those things where, you know, some people might have some scrap wood out in the garage and decide to make a cutting board and find it a little interesting. So I decided to make a video on making a cutting board. For the 1,500 subscribers, I made 2 cutting boards. One I made for my wife, and the other one is identical or close to identical. And I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. So my question to you guys is, would you be interested in a giveaway, a cutting board giveaway? You know, and I'd make it for everybody in the United States and Canada, free shipping. I would send it out, and you know, if you guys are interested, it's just basically a patterned walnut and maple cutting board. You know, about 1.5 inches thick. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 18 inches long, 12 inches wide, something like that. Maybe 20 inches wide, 20 inches long, something like that. I have to take a tape measure and check it. To be honest with you, I just cut it wherever the scrap wood landed. That's where I cut it at and made the board. But I didn't know if anybody would really be interested in that, or if I'm just kind of spinning my wheels here a little bit. Gator says you don't cut too much 2 inches thick. Why? Well, Gator, to be honest with you, most of the projects I do, I use 1-inch lumber. There's not a whole lot of projects that I use the 2-inch thick stuff for. I made a couple of tables, a couple of end stands, and a coffee table out of 2-inch thick stuff. But other than that, it's the 2-inch stuff really isn't. I use a lot of my stuff is all 1-inch stuff. Making dressers or end stands or cabinets or any of that kind of stuff. Everything's 1-inch thick. Making shelves, all that kind of stuff. I do throw a 2-inch board in every so often. There is one out there in a stack every so often, but I just haven't really cut that much because I haven't really had any projects in my mind that I really want to cut 2-inch thick stuff for. But I will have some coming here before long that I think I'll start cutting some 2-inch stuff and putting it out there. I figure if I start cutting some 2-inch thick stuff, I'll have it on hand if I need it, and then if I do get to the point where I need more 1-bys, I can always put them back on the sawmill and recut them down to the 1-inch thick. Chris says he ordered a 1080 action cam and a scope mount and got a wireless mic for the phone, so that should improve the audio quality. I'll let you know how that works out. Yeah, let me know how that works out, because you know what? I'm really interested. I want to try to get a mic. I'm using GoPros. That's what I'm using on most of my videos. I do use my phone on occasion, but most of my videos I have 2 GoPro cameras that I use. And what I found is the audio is terrible on the GoPros. And I've been looking it up online, and they do have a port on the side, and they make a little extension where you can plug in a mic for them. And they also make wireless mics where you can clip the mic on your belt and have the mic up on your collar, or somewhere kind of concealed a little bit where it's not really that big sticking out. And the mic makes a big difference. So that's probably going to be one of my next improvements I plan on making, is to buy a microphone. I have one right now that plugs in, but it's not the best quality. It's a cheap one, and it's something I'm experimenting a little bit myself, and I'm figuring things out. And when I get that all figured out, I'll let you know how I do too. Dylan says, I was hooked after having a local guy cut some logs for me. I was so excited about having my own lumber, I had to mill my own. I'm in the same boat. It was one of those things where I actually was looking around on Craigslist for some lumber, was what I was doing. I was looking for some rough cut lumber, and I come across the sawmills, and I started looking into the sawmills, and I started looking at the pricing of them. And once I realized that, compared to buying the lumber, buying the sawmill made more sense. And, I don't know how much of a difference there really is from the Harbor Freight to the Woodland Mills to even the Wood-Mizer, I think it's the LT10. But the Wood-Mizer LT10 has a bigger frame on it, and I think that makes a big difference. It's an extra $1,000, but I think the bigger frame on the bottom keeps it cutting a lot straighter, so. Dylan says, yeah, giveaway's a great idea. I was thinking of doing a tool giveaway when I hit 500. I just don't know if anybody who's watching would really be interested in a cutting board or not. If you guys are, I'm not even sure how I would do the giveaway. I'm thinking about doing something where maybe I'll take a jar or something and put some M&Ms in it or something and have everybody guess how many M&Ms are in it. Let everybody give one guess in the comment section, and whoever gets the closest without going over, then I'll ship the cutting board out to you. That's what I'm thinking about doing. And maybe I'll just do it and see how it goes. And if everybody's interested and I get some feedback on it, then that's great. And if I don't, then, I'll know for next time that nobody cares about a cutting board. How long would it take me to cut a semi-truck load of logs? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. If I had the time off and I could do, I did the one video there where I did Breaking Records, one-man sawmill, I think I labeled it, and I cut 15 logs in a day. I think those are really small logs. So I think if you're paying for a tractor trailer truckload of logs, you're probably going to get some pretty decent sized logs. And I'm probably going to say you could probably cut about 8 to 10 of them a day. And if you do, boy, I don't know how many would come on a truckload, to be honest with you. I would think it would probably take me a couple months. I went and I loaded the video where I said I'm stocking up on logs for the sawmill. I had 88 logs I hauled to the sawmill. and I think it was 3 months ago, and I just about have them all cut up. I did cut another couple loads of pine in between there, so I probably cut somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 logs or something in the last 3 months. So I would say it would probably take me 2-3 months to get a tractor trailer load of logs cut in 1 or 2 days a week, you know. Hey, saw sarcasm, glad to see you. Not sure what you're saying there, but you'll be liable when someone cuts themselves. I'm not sure what you're saying there. If it's liable, I don't think there's any liability with a cutting board, if that's what you're saying. Gator says it sounds good. Dylan says it sounds good. So I think I'm going to roll with the cutting board giveaway, and we'll see how it goes. I'll probably post the video tomorrow, depending how the editing goes. Maybe Wednesday if I can't get it edited all together. I've got it halfway there right now, so I think I'll have it posted tomorrow. Gator says, don't you think it would sell better? Not sure. 2-inch thick lumber, I think you're talking about. Would it sell better? I think it would, Gator, and that's why I did those walnut slabs in 2-inch thick, and those are the ones that I posted for sale, but I'm still not getting a whole lot of action on that, though. The problem is the thicker the wood is, the longer it takes for me to dry it, and I don't have a kiln set up yet, so it's one of those things where the 1-inch lumber dries in about a year. 2-inch lumber really should take about 2 years to dry out, so it's something that once I get the kiln built, maybe I'll cut more 2-inch lumber and I'll dry it there, and then we'll see how it sells. DP Mike says, if you make a video about the cutting board, there'd be a lot of interest. I'm making the video. It'll definitely be out tomorrow. So I think I'm going to roll it all into one. I'm going to do the make, build, and giveaway all in one video. So we'll see how that goes. If you cut a log that's been cut down a week ago versus a log that you cut down more than a year ago, would there be a difference in the final measurement after a year of drying, after cutting it to 1 inch? I'm sure there would be a difference, Mark. The way the wood shrinks, it all depends on the grain pattern. A lot of it shrinks sort of against the grain, if you want to say it that way. So it contracts and it shrinks in different ways. I found that the lumber shrinks very minor. So whether you cut it and you cut it down a week ago or whether you cut it down a year ago, it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of difference. It's one of those things. I never took a tape measure and really sat down with a pair of mics or anything and measured the actual thickness of the boards and compared the difference on seeing how much. It's very marginal, I can tell you that. I can tell you I take a lot more wood off when I go through the planer than what it shrinks from being outside. I cut it to 1 inch thick, and by the time it's done drying, it might be 7/8 or something along those lines. So over the course of a year, it's only shrinking maybe, and it's a big maybe of 1/8 of an inch. And then I run it through the planer, and I'm taking another 3/8 off of it. So, it's one of those things where I never really sat down and did the measurements on how much it really actually shrinks. Chris says, I think a giveaway will work. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate your feedback there. Sorry, I'm going to skip through these comments here, try to catch up the track here a little bit on where we're at. I'm kind of back a little bit here. Sarcasm says, Dylan's Woodworks, good, found a job going to a logging camp tomorrow. I always wanted to do logging. I really did. Logging, cutting wood and stuff. I think it's a lot of hard work, and I don't know that I'm getting older all the time. I don't know how much I could really do anymore, but it's one of those things where my career, my life, growing up, I was raised with a bunch of electricians, and it was always kind of instilled in me that you're going to become an electrician, you're going to do electrical work, and I started doing electrical work when I was probably about 8 years old. My grandfather had his own residential electrical business, and I did a lot of residential electrical work, crawling through crawl spaces, pulling wire, running receptacles and all that kind of stuff. as a kid. So as growing up, I just kind of didn't really think too much about it. I just kind of became an electrician. And now that I'm older and time has slowed down a little bit, and I've had some time to kind of reflect a little bit, I would rather do woodworking than I would electrical work. But it's one of those things where I don't know how to find the money in it. Is there a lot of money in going out and being a logger and cutting wood and stuff? I think if you get the right business with the right people, or you start your own business, you might be okay. But I don't know if I don't know. Logging's a lot of hard work, Skitter says, and I believe you're right, Kev. I've cut a lot of trees in my time, and nothing professional. Like I said, it's all backyard cutting, but I know I go home sore at the end of the week when I cut a lot of logs and hauling a lot of wood and clearing brush and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy work. Chris says his dad is an electrician and so is his brother. My whole family was electricians. My grandfather, my dad, my brother, myself, everybody, we all just kind of, even my uncles, everybody, it's just kind of one of those things where everybody, I don't know, I think it's one of those things where you're raised with a family of people doing one trade and you just kind of learn that trade and away you go. Alan says he's from Houston, Texas. I wish he had more walnut there. I'm in a place in Pennsylvania here. We have so much hardwood, so much readily available hardwood that I think I'm spoiled. It's one of those things where I can go out and throw a rock and hit a walnut tree and bounce it off a red oak to a white oak to, just about every kind of hardwood there is out there. And it's pretty readily available. Southern Arc Homestead, hey, thanks for joining me. Thanks for stopping in. Let's see. Tractorman44 says, Ben, have you ever heard of the sawmill dollar? The old timers claimed it was the hardest to earn. Yeah, I think it's a myth. It's like Bigfoot, It's one of those things. When I first bought my sawmill, the first log I cut off a sawmill, I was stoked. It was one of those things where I cut that and I was like, wow. It was just, I'm kind of like a wood junkie. I cut that wood and it's like I look at that grain pattern on that and it's like, I see so much potential in what that could be and what I could do with it. And I think, so many woodworkers out there would like to have that kind of stuff. And your eyes just roll and the numbers start rolling in your head thinking, man, you can make a lot of money with the sawmill, But the fact of the matter is, the sawmill that I have is not an industrial sawmill. It's not something that, you're trying to pump a lot of money off of or make money with. It's something that I bought because it was cheap enough and, it was something that I could get my hands on and make my own lumber and save a few dollars rather than buying rough cut lumber. I have a pretty good stash of lumber in the yard right now, and I think that eventually I'll either sell a few projects or I will sell a few boards, but will that ever be enough to really make any real money off of? I don't think so. Like I said, it's not an industrial saw. It's just something to do for a hobby. Wisconsin Timber Cutter says there's no other job but logging. Nowadays, most outfits are just button pushers. I wouldn't even know where to start to find a logging job or how to get involved in that. I wouldn't even know where to get involved in that. Chris says his dad did appliance repair, master electrician, and master plumber. He's a bright guy. My grandfather started out as a maintenance electrician in an industrial facility, and then he went on in his later years. He started residential electrical business and did a lot of residential electrical work. And then my father was working at a power plant. He was a substation electrician, and so was my uncle. My uncle did a lot of electrical work in another power plant. My brother does work for an electrical contractor, and I went to school. I did a lot of residential electrical work when I was younger, and the older I got, I went on to school and got an associate's degree in electrical engineering. I got out of there, I went and got a job doing maintenance electrical work in an industrial place. So I'm an industrial electrician. I do a little bit of everything: plumbing, hydraulics, pneumatics, welding. There's a little bit of everything involved in my job. It's not just electrical work. It's more of a jack of all trades, and fix whatever's broke kind of thing. But there's a lot of electrical work there too, motor controls, PLCs, and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest with you, it doesn't really excite me the way it used to. Back in the day, I thought it was really neat to be able to figure things out and be able to make a motor run. But nowadays, it just seems like it's getting to the point where it's getting to be a lot of paperwork, and it's getting to be a lot of secretarial stuff, and there's a lot of bosses and a lot of people, pushing and pulling you, and it's a tough job. It's not as fun as it used to be. I apologize if I skip over your comments. There's just so many of them coming in. It's something that I can't read fast enough to keep up with all of them. I don't know how guys like Buck and Billy Ray, he does a live feed, man. Holy cow, his videos go nuts. He's got so many followers and so many people. He actually makes people moderators to keep the nonsense down in the comments. But, I'm nowhere near that number of people yet. Maybe when I break the 100,000, we'll see, Dylan must be talking about his buzzsaw. Gator says, good luck with the buzzsaw, Dylan. You know what, Dylan? I would not trade the buzzsaw for 10 chainsaws. Bending over and cutting everything with a chainsaw was just so terrible on the back, cutting, and these picaroons and stuff, having them and being able to sit down and pick up the wood like that, cut it with the buck saw, drop it off the end, and then pick it up and put it on a pallet and not having to bend over, that's a whole different world. It's a lot easier on the back. That buzzsaw, that cuts just like a hot knife through butter, You moderate for him on his live feeds? How did you get involved in that? How did you come across that? I guess, see, I'm a big Buckin fan. I like his videos, but I admit I don't watch every one of them. It's one of those things where I like watching him cut the trees down, but I don't watch every one of his videos, I'll admit it. Turn my slabs into rustic shelves. I would like to turn my slabs into rustic shelves, but I have a hard time. My problem is I'm not much of a businessman. I have a hard time selling stuff. Southern Arc Homestead says she's just listening. I appreciate you coming by, and I appreciate you being here and just showing a little bit of support here. That means a lot to me, There's a lot of smaller channels that I try to support, and I appreciate everybody that comes by and watches my stuff, It's one of those things where I think that if you just do a little bit of something to try to give somebody a little bit of a leg up every once in a while, that goes a long way. The other day I did that video on me taking the blowtorch to the sawmill, and I was thinking about that. I was thinking about not even doing that video, but it was something where I figured, there's a lot of people out there that watch my channels that have sawmills, and a lot of them don't have them under a sawmill shed, and they live in areas where there's weather where they get snow and ice, and it's like, it's something that Harbor Freight sells those torches for $20, and it's like, I only use that torch a handful of times, but every time I use it, it's like I'm thankful I have it, so it's one of those things where I pass that little bit of information on, and something where I'm sure every one of you have something in the garage or something that you use from time to time that makes your life a little bit easier. And if you share that information with everybody else out there on YouTube, that's the stuff that'll get people to watch your channel. Gator, I was watching your channel, I was watching your videos, and I'm kind of researching other channels a little bit to try to see where they go right and where they go wrong. And I was looking at your Vice Grip channel, your video you did on the Vice Grip hack, where you take and you welded an eye bolt to the end of the Vice Grip so that you can tie a rope to it and pull your stuff up and down off a roof, sheet metal, or that kind of stuff, and just that little bit of a tip, that little bit of information like that, I think that's why you got so many views on that video, and it's one of those things where little videos like that go a long way in building a YouTube channel. Wisconsin Timber Cutter says he just got 15 inches of snow today. Better you than me. We got probably, 6-8 inches of snow or whatever, and it's starting to melt pretty good, so I'm happy it's melting. I like the snow, but at the same time I like to be out in it too, so I like to be outside and I like to work outside, and having too much snow is just a pain to get around in, Tractorman44 says, Dylan, do you have a video on your buzzsaw? What's the name of it? I missed it, I guess. And Dylan, I think if I'm up to date, you bought the saw blade and you're still working on getting the buzzsaw, so it's still kind of a work in progress. So just kind of keep you up the track there. Southern Arc says she's leaving. She says, have a good night. Have a good night, Southern Homestead. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate the support, you know. Appreciate you guys coming and shooting the bull a little bit with me here. Looks like my daughter's getting done here with her thing, so I think I'm going to call it a night, guys. You know, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. And tomorrow I plan on posting a video with that cutting board. And if you're interested in the giveaway, be sure to tune in tomorrow. So I'll be doing that video and I'll be giving that cutting board away. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, Gator. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Gator, you know, if you think about it, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. You know, I'd like to talk to you a little bit. You know. Good night, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Night.